Hey y'all, it's that time again for our weekly Discord Devo. So, 2 weeks ago, I think it was? Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I talked about going into 2025 thinking of it like a new game plus. One where we're taking the things that we learned in 2024 and bringing it into 2025 to be a better us. Not a resolution that says that we were bad and we need to do better or anything like that, but just a commitment to use the knowledge that we gained, to use the abilities that we gained, and to be a better us in 2025. Now, as much as that is awesome, and I really enjoy that thought, and I really want to do that, the reality of the matter is that there's still going to be stressful things coming at us in 2025. Whether you're stressed about work, or whether you're stressed about home life stuff, whether you're stressed about school if you're still in school, whether you're stressed about the inauguration coming up, or the economy, or the wildfires in LA, or a million things that could be stressing us out right now, the truth is that these stresses can kind of get in the way of our positive thinking and commitments. Stress is something that's just natural, and it's going to do these things to us. The better question is how do we deal with this? Well, it makes me think of something that actually a former student of mine told me about not too long ago. He was saying that there's a popular theory that the name Yahweh, if you don't know this is what's called the Tetragrammaton. It's 3 letters in the Hebrew language that in Exodus, when Moses is in front of the burning bush and he asks the bush, "Who are you?" You know, the bush is talking to him and he says, "Who are you?" The bush says, "I am." That word in Hebrew is actually these 3 letters, Yahweh. And it's God's name. It's kind of the way he introduces himself, Yahweh. But in that original Hebrew, there are no vowels. We spell it Y-A-W-E-H, but we don't know if there's an A and an E in there. We just kind of assumed that. It was just Y-H-W-H. And when you try and say that all by itself, it just sounds like you. And so we're not really sure what goes in there, but when you do try and say it like that, it could also be similar to you taking a breath. That if we add those verbs or the vowels in there, the Yahweh, it can just be like a deep filling breath. Now I bring this up because there's an important point in the book of Job in which somebody comes forward and mentions the breath of God. It's a man named Elihu. Now, if you don't know the story of Job, long story short, a lot of bad things happened to Job. And he's sitting on the literal ruins of his life with 4 of his friends. And 3 of them have spoken and tried to give Job all these reasons and excuses to why things are going terrible and whatnot. And what secret sin have you done? And what this and what that and whatever God is punishing you for and all this other stuff. And it's not helping. It's not really doing anything at all. And Elihu was the youngest of them. And so he, because of the culture at the time, politely waits. He knows that as the youngest, it's his job just to wait until everybody's had their say. And then he can speak. And he does. He waits. He waits. And he waits. And they have like this big, long conversation between the 4 of them, Job and the 3 older friends. And he waits until they're all done talking. And Elihu has a rebuke for them. Elihu has something to say that's like, guys, you're missing the point here. You're missing the mark. And to gear himself up, he opens by kind of hyping himself up, actually. He opens this conversation. I mean, if you've ever had to talk to somebody who's like a superior of yours, like talk to your boss or talk to your parents or talk to, whomever that might be sort of like above you in some sort of stature or standing, something like that, you can get a little bit nervous. It can be kind of stressful to get in a situation where you have to stand up for yourself in front of others with a higher standing than you. But Elihu starts hyping himself up. And he says this. Again, he's starting to talk. He says, this is Job chapter 33, verses 1 through 4. But now, hear my speech, Job, and listen to all my words. Behold, I open my mouth, the tongue in my mouth speaks. My words declare the uprightness of my heart, and what my lips know they speak sincerely. So again, he's just like prepping everybody, right? He's like, okay, it's my turn now. I'm talking. I have the right to talk. I'm going to speak sincerely. Like he's kind of just prefacing all this stuff. And verse 4, he says, again, this is still him hyping himself up. He says, the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. Oh, that sounds incredible. And the beauty of it is it's true. It's true for Elihu, and it's true for you. The Spirit of God has created us, and the breath of the Almighty gives us life. Can you imagine standing in front of any stressful situation, anything that might be standing in front of you, and just going, the Spirit of God created me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. What can stand against us then? What do we have to worry about? With the breath of God in our lungs, the Spirit of the Almighty created us. What do we have to stress about? Okay, the truth is the answer is a lot. There's still things to stress about, but hopefully this is something that you can bring into practice in 2025. Hopefully this is part of that New Game Plus equipment I'm giving you, kind of the lessons you've learned of when you face stress this year, breathe and say the name of God. And then tell yourself, just like Elihu says, chapter 33, verse 4, the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. And y'all, instead of a prayer today, I just want to recite that with you a few times. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this 3 times. And we're going to take one deep breath. And we're going to say, the Spirit of God has made me. The breath of the Almighty has given me life. We're going to do that 3 times in a row. And I want you guys to do this with me. Deep breath. Recite this mantra. Recite this verse with me. And just remember to do this when you're feeling stressed. You ready? The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. See you guys next week.